Hi, and welcome to the Toon Goons, the podcast in which we take an adult and critical perspective into the world of cartoons and animation, and analyze how they affect the pop cultural landscape at large. I'm one of your hosts, Nikki.
I'm Nina.
And I'm Tooch. I didn't pre-write any opening, because we're talking about something improvisational, so I'm going to make comedy happen before your eyes.
And that's what comedy is.
Absolutely.
It's what we do in our most panicked moments.
That's what I do.
This week, we are talking about the Adult Swim and briefly UPN show, Home Movies. One of our favorite shows, a very formative thing for all of us, and a show I'm really looking forward to us finally talking about. I'm taking the helm on the research and show background this week, so we're going to see how that plays out. I feel prepared. We'll see if it's a good idea.
Yeah, because Nina's got college fatigue. Nina could take a nap right now.
That's her X-Man skill. They didn't let her into the Institute for obvious reasons. It'd be really bad for classwork.
So, we do have some news, which Nina is still heading. So, Nina,
more or less, but
I'm heading one of them.
Tooch has a story that I would feel it would be criminal if I took it away from him. But first off, is a story I can do, and that is something I just found out today, and I'm very excited about, and that is that Sayo Yamamoto, the director of Michiko and Hatchin, which we talked about on our show and we all really liked, as well as the Lupin III, The Woman Named Fujiko Mine. She also worked on Samurai Champloo, not as a director, but I believe she directed the opening title sequence for that show. Is finally doing a new show.
Woo!
I am so excited. She's really kind of like an auteur in the anime world. She really doesn't follow otaku trends. She just kind of makes what she wants to make.
She's talented. That's what that means.
Yes. Yeah. And she usually gets a really good budget. So you get some great animation. And this show is going to be called Yuri on Ice.
Unfortunate title. Because that's not what you think it is.
Yuri as in the name that a dude can have.
Yeah, particularly the Russian given name, which is the Russian equivalent of George. Looking at the cast, what we got, there's two dudes named Yuri, great. One of whom is Japanese Yuri Katsuki, and the other is Russian Yuri Przesky.
Oh, that's neat.
I think that's really cute.
It's like Louie.
It's three dudes. The two Yuris and then a Victor.
Oh, my favorite sitcom. 2 Yuris and a Victor.
Can I? Speaking of sitcoms,
we haven't said what it's about yet.
Okay,
hold on. Speaking of sitcoms and jokes we made on the show, if somebody could please draw a promotional image for that bit Tooch did, that was It Takes Two Heads.
I forgot about that. See, now that was probably...
It's one of I think it's my favorite goof he's ever done. The punctuation is It Takes Two, period, heads, period.
See, that was good improv. Because I didn't have that.
Good. I don't remember what the pitch was, and I don't remember what episode it's in.
I think we were talking about Disney Kidcoms.
Yes. So that doesn't help narrow it down, but...
Alright. So the show is going to be about professional championship male figure skating, which figure skating has never been a thing depicted in anime before, at least not to any specific detail, partly because anime doesn't always have the best budget for fluid motion. They when they do, it's for particular scenes, and they kind of move their budget around, typically, at least historically. And ice skating is very hard to animate, because they never stop moving.
Not fluid movement. It's the most fluid. It's like you forget you have bones for a few minutes.
Yeah, and it looks amazing. We have a trailer, and we don't really know any plot. I mean, I don't think we really need to.
I mean, technically, really it's a sports anime, so I'm ready for stuff.
Yeah, it's
stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'm really interested. The art style reminds me of the studio that did the recent Parasite anime. They draw the dudes' faces kind of the same. I don't know if it's the same studio or not, but it is amazing. I've never seen animated figure skating before, I don't think. Let alone anime figure skating.
She's
an amazing director.
Parasite was by Madhouse, who I do really like. Yeah. They animate really well. But I don't know if
Madhouse does a great job.
Yuri on Ice. Does Yuri on Ice even have
I don't know this.
Yet? It does.
It does?
I mean, it's very, very, very basic information. It doesn't say who with the. Oh wait, anime is produced by Mappa, Mappa. Their logo looks like Madhouse's.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Because it was a studio established by Masao Murayama, who was the founder and former producer of Madhouse.
Okay. Yeah, I knew I could see that quality.
Yeah.
It was so crisp, so clean. And they actually got a figure skating choreographer, Kenji Miyamoto. Dang. And it looks legit because
2-time All Japan figure skating champion.
Yeah. And fun fact about me and Nikki's dad is he really loves sports. And he also is really in love with the Olympics. So growing up, our dad was always obsessed with the Olympics whenever it came in. Whenever it was time, every one. He buys the books, he does the thing. It's like all day, every day Olympic time. So I know what figure skating's supposed to look like, and this is what it looks like, and it's really amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I trust it'll be good. But like, I do hate that it's technically just become one more dude sports anime, and in this world where there's like 3 fucking sports animes coming out, and they're all about it's like where's the where's the women's sport? Like you know what the closest equivalent we have to a new female sports anime coming out is? It's horse racing, but the girls are the horses. And they race. It's like foot racing, but they're horse girls.
Well, it's new territory for Yamamoto.
Oh yeah, no, because her throwing her hat in the ring will make it. I'm sure will make it interesting and make it stand out and make it something else. But
I can't imagine it's going to be typical.
No,
it's
absolutely
not going to be like free. There's no way. She's not that kind of director.
No, but
any that's what I want to know.
Any soapbox I can stand on to scream for more females characters in media, I'll do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. A friend of the show, Devin, who's Tooch's co-host on Metrospective, he's working on like the closest thing possible. It's a visual novel. It's obviously very different, but it's about female pro wrestlers.
Yeah.
And like, I hope that takes off so we could get an anime about that. It's called Puro Heart.
As far as I know, it's still in the scripting in terms of story, and they're still basically pre-pro. They're in the middle of pre-pro right now.
Yeah, but he's pouring everything he has into this, so support it.
I mean, it's interesting to me because Yamamoto has always stood out as this not just a female director, but a very feminist director, and all of her 2 major series so far are very large feminist pieces, and they have these very striking female characters in them, and to go from that to having a main cast of all males is kind of different. So I'm looking forward to see how she puts her spin on what would otherwise just be a cute boy sports anime.
Yeah.
So with that, I'll turn things over to Tooch, because I've talked over him enough. It's time for him to shine.
Okay, so Christmas came early for me this year. I mean, we reported earlier...
Or late. It's March.
Easter became Christmas for me this year. We reported before about how Netflix was having 2 new shows. One was the Troll Thing by Guillermo. Because they were both reported in the same story, he had to be like, I'm only on that first one. I know I made Pacific Rim, but I'm not in every Western mech thing now. But yeah, DreamWorks and Netflix are making a Voltron cartoon, and I was cautiously hype, like, okay, could be good. The last couple attempts to bring Voltron back were atrocious. But then I found out that it was going to be headed by people who worked on, directed, and animated on Avatar and Korra. And so I was like, I was pretty optimistic. And then, out of nowhere, really, The Nerdist got like the inside scoop. They got to go over and meet with them and interview the heads of the show and watch the first episode. And so they give the skinny on this shit. They just drop it as if it were a high temperature. And just all the details. We got a cast list. We got designs. We got everything, man. It's so good. Jeremy Shada is up ends.
Yeah, I saw that. Cool. He needs more roles.
They didn't even know, like, the guy, whichever one of them was, like, picking the people, he had never seen an episode of Adventure Time. He didn't know who he was. He picked him for his audition.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Way to go. Acting skills, dude.
The art style is very Avatar Korra-esque. One dude, like, the bigger dude, just, like, he just has Bolin's face. He just has a Bolin face. And they're very much taking. I mean, obviously they loved Voltron, but when they went back and watched the original 1985 quote unquote dub, they didn't so much dub it as they watched it in Japanese and just like made a story up because no one in that studio spoke Japanese. The dub was so like they knew going into it like we can't actually just like make this as it was because it wasn't actually good as much as we loved it as kids. And so, but they took obviously a lot of the important story beats from it that they could, and even going back to the original Go Lion anime and taking beats from that character stuff, but also just like doing their own thing. Voltron himself is CG, and I'm sure other monstros he fights will be CG, but everything else seems pretty 2D. The cast is 2D. There's some close-ups of his transformation sequence, and those are 2D, which really impressed me, that they're really blending the mediums like that. And you can just tell reading the whole interview that they just really put their heart and soul into making a really good Western super robot cartoon. And I need this because it's such a niche genre, and any mainstream shout-outs that this fucking scene can get, I'm all for.
Yeah, I don't know much about Voltron personally, so I'm excited to learn who these characters are and why I should care, other than the fact that the robot's super cool.
I mean, that's always the first part. One thing, like, this is me, like, I read all their character descriptions.
He did destroy the moon in this preview. He fucking destroyed the moon.
I mean, hey, is giving him
so he can make the
guff.
DreamWorks logo.
I mean, that's in classic anime fashion. Everyone has beef with the moon.
Yeah.
One thing that like didn't necessarily interest me. It was sort of like I read it and my brain went wild with the best possible scenario to what this could be. Jeremy Shada's character Lance, the pilot of the Blue Lion. His whole thing, like they're all Earthlings who got transported into space for because shenanigans is basically like your classic trope plot. But his whole thing is Lance will hit on nearly anything that moves, but the game he spits is pretty groan-worthy. So basically, he's like hitting on aliens and shit the whole time. And my first thought was like,
they're in space?
Yeah, it's a sci-fi show. Did you not know that?
I'm afraid I've got some bad news, boys. You're in space.
I'm learning.
I mean, I guess there's nothing obvious, but, like, yeah. This is just because my brain, like, okay, well, if you're gonna have aliens and you're gonna have this guy hitting on non-humans, like, he's gonna be straight. I wish he wasn't, because you can't be straight in space. It's impossible. You can't be.
It doesn't work.
It literally does not work. I know they're gonna make it work. They're gonna give everybody boobs, and it's gonna be dumb, but in my heart of hearts, because it doesn't exist yet, he's Schrodinger's hetero. For now.
Which one is Lance in this picture? Do we know?
Lance, the one in the middle, the lanky-looking guy.
Oh, okay, the goober one.
Yeah, that's
because we've got cool guy, anime cool guy, goober, kid, and big guy.
Yep, that's them. And there's also there's also gonna be like the princess character. She's gonna do stuff, and like. There's also, like, the princess's, like, advisor character, I guess, and they were really, like, hyping him up as their equivalent. Like, they described him as the show's Varric, so now I'm really looking out for him. I'm excited for this show. It's made by good people. And
yeah, I want to watch it.
Going back to my ridiculous, stupid, desperate headcanon, the only reason that I think it might even have like a 0.5% chance of being true is because like it's Netflix and they can do whatever they want, and that would be cool of them. And also how Korra ended.
Exactly. It's hip now.
It's hip to be queer.
It's so fashionable.
Yeah.
So that was that. Tooch can probably talk about it forever.
Absolutely.
So you can message him. I'm sure he would not mind at all. But we have another huge story. And some of you were wondering why we didn't talk about it last week. That's because it dropped the day after we recorded. So this is probably old news for a lot of you. Sorry. But yeah, it's the Fooly Cooly story. And that it's happening. It's happening. The sequel that we never thought was ever going to happen. I never knew if anyone
really
wanted it.
Yeah, we had no reason to like ask for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even that any that's the most confusing thing, because it's not as if anybody was directly opposed to it, because that happens in media sometimes where something will drop and then a lot of people will be like, that's good, I hope they never make a sequel. But FLCL, it was such a thing. It was just sort of a thing that happened. It was like an event.
It didn't air on Japanese television. It was just
wasn't an OVA?
Yeah, it was an OVA, so it was on home video. It wasn't on TV. So it was just like an experiment for them. Because they were a new studio. Yeah. They had like just sort of finished Ava and were like, what do we do? How do we move on? But yeah, it's going to be arriving on Toonami late 2017 or early 2018.
Plenty of time for us to completely forget about it.
This is another example of Western production of like helping to co-produce anime, right?
Yes. Toonami is directly... And by Toonami, we mean Turner Broadcasting's Adult Swim.
And actually, now that I think about it, they did this before with Big O. That was another robot anime. It didn't do that well in Japan, but like when they aired it on Adult Swim, people dug the shit out of it, and people were unsatisfied with its conclusion, so they helped produce a second season, and then that season finale was even more obtuse and confusing, so everybody just kind of gave up.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But yeah, it's going to be 2 new seasons of 6 episodes each, like the original. So this isn't just a sequel. This is like, they're going to full-blown expand this universe past the point any of us thought it would. Series creator is going to be serving as supervisor, and, you know, we have a lot of veterans. The character designer worked on Ava. Writer worked on something I don't know. The director is the dude who directed
called Last Dinner.
Last Dinner.
Yeah, I mean, maybe somebody else will know it.
Maybe.
I don't know this, therefore who cares? Moving on.
Director worked on Psycho-Pass. And the plot is... Because it's like, what would the plot be?
Yeah.
It says, the fresh adventures pick up many years after 12-year-old Naota and the woman who changes his life forever, Haruko, first crosses paths. Meanwhile, the war between the medical Mechania and the fraternity rages across the galaxy. Enter Hidomi, a young teenage girl who doesn't expect much from her average life until a new teacher named Haruko arrives, shortly followed by the attacking medical Mechanica. It is then that Hidomi discovers a secret within her that could save everyone, but that only Haruko can unlock. But why did Haruko return to Earth? What happened to her scooter? Where's Kanti? He was the best one. Why does this article have so many misspellings?
That last bit was Nina's editorial.
Because somebody needed to edit this article. I was reading along with Nina, and boy, oh boy.
That's why it kept bumping. I was like, get kind of bumpy, shaky, because it's like, oh, there's so many mistakes. But whatever. This one person writes all the articles for this website.
They copy-pasted that from an Adult Swim guy who tweeted that. It's from the press release.
Yeah.
This seems like if they're gonna do this, it seems like a good first step is to not make Naota the main character. He's gone through his arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like Naota's arc is really what makes me wonder how they're gonna go about doing this, because, you know, in a normal show there would be, you know, 2 different things. There would be the main conflict with Mechanico, and then, you know, the Naruto's arc would be his internal character arc. But FLCL was about his arc.
Yeah, all the other shit was just in the background.
Yeah, it was hyper focused on him. FLCL until these next 2 seasons comes out, FLCL as an entity is specifically about Naota. And so I'm not saying that it's impossible to make FLCL without focusing on him, but I literally have no idea what it's going to look like and what FLCL not focused on Naota even feels like tonally. And I really hope they can pull that off.
We talked about it in our Fooly Cooly episode that, there's this whole space opera going on in the back that we talk about for maybe a total of 95 seconds of airtime. And it's potentially very interesting, and it's what actually puts the entire plot into motion, but it's barely focused on. So it seems like an obvious place to go would be to actually focus on it, but I don't think that would be totally in line with what Fooly Cooly is.
Absolutely not, no.
Yeah, and that's not what people cared about.
Yeah, I'm very curious about what this is going to be, and I think no matter what, I'm going to watch it. I have my expectations pretty well tempered, and I would be very surprised if this turns out to be tonally like the first Fooly Cooly. It could just be like, to me, this sounds like Fooly Cooly Gaiden. It's going to be something that takes place in the universe of Fooly Cooly, and it has some of the same characters, but it's not thematically Fooly Cooly. Or maybe it will be. We got a 2-paragraph press release. We might end up going through similar motions with this new, Hidomi girl.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, is like, that's another thing, like, the main character is a girl, and my first thought was like, FLCL was kind of about this kid having boners all the time, so it's like, what are they going to do with this girl?
One way is that Haruko is going to be sexually harassing her in the same way, and it's going to be about something.
I mean, the only thing is that Haruko didn't really have an arc, because she was just like this force of nature, so maybe
she was a device.
Yeah, she's just like this unobtainable trickster goddess.
So I wonder if they're going to dive more into her, because she's like the most popular character, right?
Yeah,
but again, like,
incorrectly, because it should be Conti.
I don't think diving into her is the point of the show.
No,
I agree with both of you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she's an enigma, and that's what makes her work, There's a lot of characters
she's the girl next door, several thousand light years next door.
She's not the girl next door. The girl next door is not, like, trying to sex kill you all the time.
In anime, she is.
That's true. I forgot about anime.
You forgot about anime, like, harder than you forgot about Dre.
No, the girl next door is always, like, the most boring romantic option in any anime. They're the most normal one.
I guess I use that term for, like, the unattainable, like, woman trope that the kid, like...
Yeah.
I get the little redhead girl.
The Mary Jane.
But, like, insane. And with a scooter. And a guitar. Gosh, she's so fucking cool.
Yeah, she's really cool.
I'm just excited to see her on the screen again, tearing some shit up and being delightfully horrible.
Also, another good news. Sure. The creative director at Adult Swim also tweeted that the plan, because like this is still in development, this is still in pre-pro and whatnot, but the plan is to get not only the original voice cast back, but also get the pillows back. Like that's what they're gonna go for. Like that. Honestly, the story can be a little garbage. If the pillows are there, I can hang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was never big on the English dub anyway. I don't know if they're talking about the English or the Japanese. Probably both.
They're talking about Japanese. Probably both. Yeah, they'll probably simulcast this.
Or I would actually love it if they could do a good dub this time.
Yeah. Me too.
I'm always in the market for good dubs.
If it's
I
possible.
think it would be. I think if they have a very good dub, it would be easier to absorb. Because it was one of those shows where, like, it's hard to take in everything that's going on both textually and visually. I mean, it's not to the level of, say, Tatami Galaxy, thankful, but, like, actually almost that in a very different way it was.
It's because the use of language in Fooly Cooly is very Japanese. It doesn't translate very well.
Yeah, it's hard to localize.
Yeah. But we'll see.
I mean, localizations have just gotten better in general.
Yeah.
People have learned how to do it better, so I think there's a good chance that the dub could be better. Like I said, I'm excited for this. Like I said, I've got tempered expectations, but I really, really want to see it.
The animation will at least be good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's the news we got. As always, if you find a news story that you want us to talk about, you can send it in to us either by email or Twitter. The best ways to do it. Keep in mind that, like with this, right now we're recording on Wednesdays, but after the semester's over, that may change depending on where our schedules are. So, like, if an episode comes out after a news story drops, that's why.